Welcome to part one of a 5-part series. Make sure that you head on over to our store and check out some of our downloadable templates, which include resume and cover letters, as well as check out some of our other courses. Now let's get started.
Well, hello and welcome to Upgrade Your Resume Lesson 1. This is Danielle Mitchell with AverageBlack Girl, and this is Above Average University. In this lesson, you will learn how to structure your resume, how to create a profile and skill highlight section. We will also create a leadership and development section, create a header and a footer section, and create a skills and highlight section. So we're going to get you all together on how to create an entire resume. So let's start with the structure of your resume. At the beginning, I would start with creating the header, the footer, and the profile. At the top, you're going to want your name, your number, your city and state, and your email address. Now, I say just city and state instead of your entire address because one, people do have biases, and those biases sometimes rear their ugly head, and you just don't want to be a product of discrimination. How do they discriminate? Well, say that your address is in a black area. They may discriminate and assume that you're black and they just don't want to hire any more black people, or whatever minority group you fall into. Or say that you live an hour away from the job. They may assume that you're going to be an attendance issue, and they may hire people that are only within 30 miles of the office, and you are 50 miles. So you may be out because of that. So I just say just to put the city and state, the major city and state that you are in, and leave it at that. So if you're in the suburbs, I would still say, like if you're in the suburbs of Chicago, I would still say Chicago, Illinois, even if you're not there. I wouldn't put your tiny suburb name because that's defeating the purpose. You might as well give your entire address because it's showing the general vicinity of where you're at. And again, we want to avoid that. Footer left to right. First, you want to have your number. Then you want to have your name or website. I am an encourager of putting either your personal website, like I have one. You can find me at danielleamitchell.com, and that just has a little bit of my information about me before I started my businesses. So you can see where I went to school, you can see my experience in corporate America, and you can see what I'm doing now, and you'll see all of what I'm doing now. So you will see what I'm doing at AverageBlack Girl, but you'll also see my other two companies, Melanin Business and Join Black Men. If you don't have that, then I would put a LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn, you can customize your LinkedIn profile for a customized URL, and I would use that. So that will help you. And then your name. So your name should be on there as well. So your name is if you don't have any of them. So it should be number, name, and email address. I prefer it to be number, website, and email address. And that's that. And then for the profile section, that's going to be an overview of your skill sets as a professional. Now, before it was called an objective, but objectives are very redundant. They're very, your objective is to get a high paying position or to get a position with upper mobility in marketing or in management or in accounting. Like that is redundant. We all want a position with upper mobility where we can, be promoted and make a career. That's very, very redundant. So what we want to do is we want to have an overview of who you are. If they don't have time to look through your resume, they need to know in 2 or 3 sentences who you are, how many years of experience you have, and why you're just a bomb person that they should, take to the next level and actually read your resume. Profiles are more about you. Objectives are more about the job you want. So let's get into my resume so that you can see that part. So first I have my name, and then I have my number, I have my email address, I have my website, and then I have my email address. And that's what I have for the top part. And my name is big. Your name should always be bigger fonts because this is the first thing. They want to make sure you have the right candidate. So my name is in bigger font, and then I have my cell, I have my personal website, and I have my email address. Now, this is my actual resume, guys. So, don't use this email to contact me because I sometimes check it, but I check my business one all the time. And because you're in my course, you can reach me at admin@melaninbusiness.com. That is the email that you can use to reach me, and I will get back to you ASAP. But that is the one that I'm always checking, and my entire team is checking. And this is the profile section. So now we're going to get into the profile section. So before I tell you what mine is, let's go back to our slides. So the resume profile section is a section of the resume where it includes a brief summary of the applicant's skills, experiences, and goals as they relate to a specific job opening. You want to use action words like results-driven, performance-driven, goal-driven. You manage key accounts, you manage relationships, you're skilled in creating, you're skilled in marketing plans, product launches, leading a team, customer training, proven ability to work collaboratively with others in the office staff. Those are things that you want to use. So for me, my profile section, I said that I was a performance-driven marketing professional, skilled in creating marketing plans and leading successful product launches, promotions, and development. I also said that I had a proven ability to manage key account relationships in large-scale projects, experience with presenting to senior management, representing senior management in discussions with others in the company, meeting with customers, and training. I've given a whole overview that I am organized. From this, you can tell that I'm organized. I am a self-starter. I am self-motivated. I can get things done. I can talk to people. I can present to people. This is all that you're getting from me just from that profile section. So when you go and you're writing your profile section, make sure that you're using these powerful action words, but you're giving a high level. Don't talk specifically on one thing. Give overviews on what you're doing. Or if you haven't done that yet, use situations where you have. If you've led a team in school, if you've been on a board, you have, talked to people. You have successfully launched something. You've launched a program. The program can be directly related to launching a product. You've done promotion. You got people to come. You were able to, if you got any sponsorships, you're able to talk to people. You're able to talk to key accounts. Those sponsorships, although in school, a lot of these sponsors already have a relationship with the school, you're able to get some of that money to your specific need, to your specific organization. If you constructed emails, you have successfully able to develop relationships, lead discussions, take initiative. You've done that on a smaller scale, but you've still done that. Those are skill sets that you have, and you need to relay that to your resume. Now we're going to go into the skill highlight section. So this is one of the most important sections. The skill highlight section is right before you get into your work experience and education and all that. But again, if someone's skimming, they're going to go to your profile section and your skill highlight section first. So in your skill highlights, you are talking about any formal training you've had, any industry tools or industry normal tools that you need to have. And you're focusing on all of that is going to help you showcase that you have the ability to get stuff done. All of these skills are showing that I can learn, I can be trained, and I can do my objective well. So some of the skills that you want to put are standard and some of them are trained, and you want to have a mixture of both. So standard skills are strategic planning, cold calling, market research, technical writing, social media marketing, detail-oriented, strong time management, interpersonal communication skills, meticulous record keeping. All of those are standard skills. And then trained skills are skills that you learn within your industry. PeopleSoft payroll is a type of payroll. You just don't learn that off the street. You actually are trained in that because that is an industry's norm when doing payroll, when doing accounting, when doing those things. SOX procedures, again, that's an accounting thing. If you're a CPA, then this is something that you're already doing. You definitely want to put that in there. Client assistance letters, FDIC IA loan review, Google AdWords certified, Salesforce. Those are things that are in different industries. Though if you're in digital marketing, Google AdWords certified is something that you want to do, and if you have that, then it's something that you need to put in the skill highlight section so that if you're applying for something and people want to know, hey, do you do digital marketing? Can you write these ads for me? Oh, I'm already Google AdWords certified. Okay, great. You already know the process. You already know the industry. This is giving you a 1-up. And a lot of these things you can take on your own. Like, you don't have to be employed to be Google AdWords certified. These are things that you can start working on if you know you want to get into that arena. Or any of these arenas. You can read up on them. There's different conferences that offer training. These are things that you want to look at, but those are trained skills, and that is just as important, if not more important, as standard skills. So for me, this is what I put. So I put that I do strategic planning, technical writing, event planning, cold calling, social media marketing, Google AdWords certified, market research, financial reporting, and promotional model. Because I've done all of that. With Coca-Cola, I was a promotional model with the Fanta team during certain events. Market research, again, I've done that throughout my entire career with multiple brands. Financial reporting, same thing. I'm very analytical. I can do that. Not only have I taken 5 economics classes in college, but I've been able to utilize those skills in the corporate world as well. Now we're going to go to education. Where should it go? Now, it should go different places for different people. Ask yourself this: is this new information? If this is new information, if you just graduated in the last 3 years, put it up top. It means something because this is a new skill. One, that's important for people to know that you are a new hire. A lot of initiatives are to hire new recent graduates, so you need to put that out there. If you just got a new certificate, that again shows I'm always learning, or I take my career seriously, or I take my skill set seriously. That's important. If you're currently enrolled, again, put it up top. That's important, especially if there's a break in your work. So if you are not working and you're going to school full time, people want to know what happened. Why are you unemployed on your resume? Well, if you're putting, oh, she's in school, that takes it away. There's no questions asked, and we can keep moving. Now, if you have not graduated recently and there has been no increase in your education, you need to put that at the bottom. You need to put that at the bottom because it is something that is relevant, but it's not as relevant as your work experience is. And for those that have graduated a long time ago and you are cautious about if you should put it or if you should put the year or things like that because of your age, then that needs to go at the bottom. And to be fair, to be clear, it's true. Like, age discrimination is real. Discrimination on anything is real, but these are some of the things that we're talking about to make sure that your resume fits whatever you want to get out of it. So, yes, if you have, 30, 40 years experience, then we know that puts you in a certain age bracket. And because there is a push to hire younger, cheaper labor, you don't want to be knocked out of the game before you can get the interview. Because the goal is to get the interview. Once you get the interview, you sell yourself, you got it, but we need to get a seat at the table. So, with that being said, put it at the bottom if you're not recently graduated or you have no additional education, certifications, or things like that. And depending on how long you have graduated, it is okay to take the year off just to keep them guessing so that you don't give your age away if that is necessary. Now let me show you. For me, my education is up top because even though I graduated from the University of Illinois in 2011, and I put, my Bachelor's of Science and I put my majors, in 2014, I just received a certification from the Harvard Business School underneath their HBX program called the Core Readiness Program, where I took 3 business classes, an accounting class, an economics class, and a business analytics class. And so that is recent, so therefore I put it up there. But if I didn't take that class, it would be here at the bottom. The very bottom would be right there. And this is just an example that I use for someone. And as you can see, my one resume is 1 page, the other one is 2. How do I feel about that? Well, I think that for some places, if they ask you for a 1-pager to be submitted, give them a 1-pager because they're asking that because a lot of times when you're submitting online, it's being read by the computer. So if you don't follow the credentials that they're looking for, you're automatically pushed out. However, when you are in front for the interview, your resume can be longer than 2 pages. We're going to get into how to make a brag book and everything, but you want to sell yourself. And if your past experience is relevant to the job, I'm all for using it. But I personally have 4 different resumes. I have a resume for everything that I need. If I'm doing marketing, I have a resume for that. If I'm doing beauty, I have a resume for that. If I'm doing sports, I have a resume for that. Because different things matter to different people, different work experiences. If I'm doing sports or if I'm going for a sports contract or a sports job or anything like that, I don't need to put that I worked for L'Oreal. That's beauty. That has nothing to do with it. It's not really dire. It's important. It's my story, but I'd rather put that I worked for Coach Tom Shaw. I'd rather put that I worked for the Miami Dolphins for the suite attendant. I'd rather put those things than beauty. Okay, leadership and development. I am a fan of having a leadership and development section. This is something that I've been using for a very long time, and I just feel like it stands out. This allows you to show some personality, and it shows you your personality and your ability to shine outside of your job. So this can be a professional organization that is related to your field or industry, roles that you led in your organization, and that organization can be in work. So if you have a women's organization or a African American organization, or if there's a volunteer organization, if you led something outside of your normal work job, that can go here. Or if you volunteer, honor society, you work somewhere else, you have a church, or anything that causes you to tick, this is where you can put that. So for me, what did I put? So I put for my leadership and development section that I worked for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. And I basically talked about how I was a mentor of a 4th grade little sister, and I talk about exactly what I did. Underneath here, in my longer resume, because like I said, I have a 2-page resume, and the 2-page resume I use when someone is asking me or is considering my job. Like, I have a 2-page resume that I use. I actually bring it up so I can compare. Here's my 2-page. So I put that I also worked at the Miami Children's Hospital, National Black MBA Association, and professional organization. I was a part of the Automated Merchandising Association of Florida. And that was when I was working with the vending channel with Coca-Cola, and so that was very industry related. And the National Black MBA is a professional organization. I am a fan of putting the professional organization in your field. So if you were working in the health field, I would say to put that I worked for the National Association of Health Care Executives, NACE. And I would do that because they are one of those national organizations, and they put on programs locally once a month. So their local chapter normally puts on a program once a month, and these programs are open to anyone. So if you are a member, then you can go to them for free or cheap. But if you're not a member, you can go. You just have to pay a fee to get in. And it's a great way that you can say, oh, I am a part of this. But if someone were to check your membership and say, hey, you don't have a membership to National Black MBA, you can say, oh, well, I still attend some of their events and I check their website, periodically to make sure that I am on top of industry norms, that I know industry standards, and that I'm keeping up to breast about what's going on in our arena. That's a good sale. That means something. And that means that, hey, Danielle is really interested in marketing and branding in this whole business industry, and she is so much interested that she has decided to find some professional organizations to help her go to the next level. And while we're down here, so my skills and highlights section can be anything. So skills and interests. For me, I like to put the proficient in MS Office because, to be truthful, not everyone is proficient in Excel. Outlook. People look like, oh, Word and PowerPoint are the most easily accessible and people normally, but not everyone is doing that. So it's important to put that in there. And then your certifications. If you have any certifications, if you're working on certifications, just put ongoing and then put dash or colon and then put what you're going for. But that's important. That's what you can show. I'm interested in this. I have interest in that. These are my certifications. This is what I'm working on. I remember when I was applying for my last job back in 2014, I had put this and I had like an ongoing list of all these different things. I was trying to get certified in Word, and I was taking all these online courses just to build my knowledge, and that was what I was putting on. I was saying that I was learning how to do WordPress. I was learning how to do a little bit of coding and things like that. And, now 2 years later, I have websites and online courses. So it paid off, but it definitely helped me to get where I was going. And it showed my employee the direction that I wanted. So it helped when I was asking for other things to do. They already knew a little bit about me. Okay. So back to what I was saying. For skills and highlights, do you need it? You definitely can use it if you need a filler to add more space, or if the information is relevant that you need to add, but doesn't fit in any other category. So, like I said before, the first thing I'll put is proficient in MS Office Suite. But then I would put a volunteer thing. If you just want to show, hey, I'm really interested in this, or I volunteer in that. So one of my clients had put that they volunteer at Ladder Up Tax Assistance, and they do Feed My Starving Children. Well, that lets me know that, hey, this person is a good worker, and they are really passionate about helping people with their taxes. They also did a Feed My Starving Children thing. So this person is just like a serial volunteer, and that may be what we're looking for. We may be looking for someone to help with our volunteer section or to lead an initiative. But this is showing that a little bit more of that personality, and it's perfect because what you don't want is a resume that stops halfway through. Like, you want to fill up your resume and show that you're doing something. So this allows that. And if you don't have any, like a lot of people are like, well, I don't have any, at this point, it's time to make it look like you do, and then go ahead and get that experience as you're writing it down. So for instance, it is right now December. You can say that you volunteer at a food bank, and then there's nothing wrong with you this weekend signing up and volunteering at the food bank. Doing things that you can do right away is what I suggest. There's nothing wrong with you saying, hey, I want to volunteer at the museum, and then contacting the museum and asking them when you can come in and help. Things that you don't have to go through a process of filling out an application and interviewing and applying and things like that. Now, if you were to say, hey, I'm about to volunteer at the Children's Hospital, well, that's a little bit more complicated to do, and you may not want to do that because that's easily verifiable. For instance, just so you guys know, with the hospital, you have to not only go in for orientation, you have to take a flu shot, you have to fill out this stuff saying that you're not a child molester, and that you don't have any crazy background histories. They have to do a background check, some of them. So that's just not as easy as, hey, I'm just going to go to a food bank, or I'm going to sign up for a church something, or whatever. So those are things to think about when you're building your skills and interest section. And now we're going to get into the nitty gritty. We're going to get into work experience. So, with work experience, this is the structure that I use. Company name and title will be on the left. And then on the right will be the city and state, and your start month and your end month and year. And if it's present, then you keep it as present. So this is my example that I have for my resume currently. Melanin Business, CEO, Atlanta, Georgia, May 2015 to present. And right underneath that in the body is you're going to want to have results-oriented, action-driven sentences. You want to use words like created, successfully, ensured. Where this is where a lot of people mess up because they just go to the job portal, they copy the job description, and they put it in their resume. Now, if I wanted to know what your job description was, I could Google it. If I wanted to know what a marketing director at McDonald's does, I could go and Google that. I want to know specifically, what did you do in that job that made you significant? What did you bring to the table? Did you save time? Did you save the company money? Did you lower incidence reports? Did you hit volume? Did you increase income? Did you create new hire forms, training materials? Did you start a newsletter? What did you do? And not only do I want to know what did you do, but I need to know the metrics. So if you created training materials, great. That's like something that is awesome. And anything that you are creating, I would make sure that you, before you leave the company, send that to yourself so that you have that information for your next interview. But if it's something monetarily, time, anything that has to do with numbers, I want to know those metrics. Did you increase volume 5% year over year? Did you lower incidence by 25% because you created a training material to ensure all new hires were well informed about the safety measurements? Did you bring up an issue that prevented the warehouse from hitting the safety industry metrics? Did your newsletter increase company engagement or increase company morale? So for me, now this is for another position. So this is not under Melanin Business that I did this, but this is what I used for a position that I had within Coca-Cola. So I said that I created a strategic customer partnership, contract negotiations, and brand expansion across key account customers located in the Florida and Atlanta market unit. In connection with a sales call, I maintained appropriate inventory levels, maintained company assets and point of sale, ensured accounts meet company merchandising standards, determined store product needs, place and transmit appropriate orders. I successfully increased volume by 4.6% and net gross profit by 2.9% versus prior year. And I was influential in Share Coke campaign, Sprite Christmas trees, and Arnold Palmer tournament. Those are things that I actually did. I helped with that. Okay. So here's one right here. So I said, when I was a key account manager, that I worked explicitly with the vending wholesale companies throughout the Florida market unit that have an annual case count of 20,000 cases or more. I successfully increased volume by 4.6% and net gross profit by 2.9% versus prior year. I create strategic customer partnerships, create negotiations, and brand expansions across key customers located in the Florida market unit. Underneath that, I have where I was a marketing director. And I said that I successfully execute looks of success in all outlets, sell and implement campaigns, and sell promotional programming. I effectively reach new business development goals and aid in client marketing initiatives. I achieved the highest number of new business acquisitions during statewide selling initiatives. So I'm saying that not only am I doing well, but I'm reaching that. And I have that supporting document to show. Because a lot of times, people will dress up a resume and just say whatever. Well, I also have a brag book that I'll talk about in our later lessons that support this. And then I talk about experiential brand marketing because that's important. I just said at the top that I did promotional modeling. What does that look like? Well, for Calle Ocho, I handed out over 1,000 cans of Fanta as a Fanta girl, successfully set up and broke down the Fanta-infused display areas. Once a year, Miami transforms itself into a scene of carnival as Calle Ocho Festival culminates in the world's largest black party. So I said, what is Calle Ocho? Because I was applying for jobs outside of Miami, and I knew that a lot of people didn't know what that was. So I just explained it to them. Because the job that I was actually applying for was in Atlanta, and I got that job and moved. But I had to let people know, okay, this is not something that if I was looking at the resume, I wouldn't know what that is. So I just explained it. Women's Link, Valerie Burton seminar. So I was the registration lead. I conducted registration for Women's Link chapters across USA and Canada, organized the sign-in process, and behind-the-scenes setup. This was the first time remote chapters were able to video conference an event at the same time across the nation. So I'm letting you know this is what I did. When you think of a resume, I want you guys to think of me. This is a team of me. This is what I did. Even if you worked in a team, you're applying for the job. So I want to know what you did. What happened? Don't say the team did this. Say I did this. Now, we're going to go into resume don'ts. So that is basically the entire resume. Before I get into that, that is everything. So profile, skill highlight, education either goes at the top or in the bottom. And then we have the work, leadership and development, and skills and interest. So now I want to get into resume don'ts. The first resume don't is an unprofessional email address. That will get you put in the do not move forward basket very seriously and very fast. So good examples are firstname.lastname@gmail.com, and these can be swapped out to Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, whatever you want. If you are a business, then admin@businessname.com or info, or you can even use your name. You can use Danielle at business name or Danielle Mitchell at business name. And then the last one is you can do businessname@gmail.com. So any of those work, but we want to get away from, Danielle Mitchell, real one, or, crazy, sexy, cool, Beyonce lover, the Beehive. All of that you want to get away from, unless that's what you're doing. If you are have run an Instagram account and this is what you do about Beyonce, then by all means, this is not it. But if you are just, you like her on the side, but you're applying for a professional position, let's just get a professional email. Next one, references available upon request. This is, again, another redundant one, and we're getting away from that. This is very old school, and this is something that we are no longer using. HR managers already know that references can be available on request, but that's just a very overused phrase. Do not put their names and contact information because you want to be in charge of the process. you have these references available on request in their first name and last name, and now they're getting called and you haven't briefed them. You haven't told them, this is what I want you to say. This is what I need you to say. Such and such is calling. And you never want them to be like, what? She's applying for something, or what? I don't know what she does, but she's just a great person. Like, you want them to say, no, I worked with her on this. We walked through this. This was very great. I highly recommend. Like, you want those words to come out. You don't want it to be nothing. And some people actually call the references before even notifying you if it's on there. And if your references don't do you a good job, you have already kind of cooked yourself in the foot. Next, your exact address. And I touched on that a little bit, but this is more information. 1, if they think that you'll have a tardy issue based on how long your commute may be, they may not move forward. 2, they may discriminate based on race depending on if your address is in a Black neighborhood. 3, fraud. If you're uploading your resume to major job finder sites such as Career Builder or Monster, you don't want your personal information available to anyone to see. And we already know, like, how many people have been a victim of credit card, like, issues. I know I have. So just imagine if they knew your address, how much harder that would be. Now we're talking about PayPal. Now we're talking about just craziness. Next, personal information, social security numbers, mother's maiden name, birth certificate, all that should not just be given out willy-nilly. Even if you're applying to certain things on file for different corporations, once you get hired and you make it past the first stage, you actually have to do that all again for real this time. So in the meantime, just put 000000000 or do 111, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just make up those names, those numbers, because you don't want to just send it to anything. And again, a lot of these companies are hiring third-party people to kind of go through and weigh that out. And so you are giving it, possibly your information, to some place that is unprotected, to the middle of nowhere. And again, if I haven't emphasized anything, is that although we are holding these companies to a higher standard, they are being ran by regular humans. And humans make error. Humans quit and steal from companies and do all types of unethical things. And you just want to make sure that you're protecting yourself and your information so that despite human error, you're not affected. But yeah, so once you get hired, or at least you get to the actual interview, you'll be asked to do a professional and real background check, and that's when you can put all your information in. So your homework is, I want you to put any questions you have in our Facebook groups or email me. Our Facebook groups are Melanin Business and the Blue Boss Group. Melanin Business is a closed group that anyone can join. So that is for people that, one, is an offset from the company Melanin Business. We go over marketing tips and tricks. People share, people give feedback. We're all just trying to grow together. And we also have an interest in buying black and what's going on in the black community. The Blue Boss Group is a closed group that's only open for people that have worked with me in some capacity. So they have bought something from me, or we worked together on something. And so that is a smaller group. But again, we go over tips and tricks and things like that. But in that group, I am giving, free things, cyber sales, discounts, coupons, and more things, because that is my thank you for people that are paid customers. And Melanin Business is just a growing group that we talk about any and everything. So if you put your examples in any of those groups, people will give you feedback. I will give you feedback specifically, and we will, get better together. So yes, please do that. And that is it for lesson 1. So stay tuned for lesson 2, and I will see you guys shortly. Bye.